Right now at 9 a.m., extremely high temperatures are back. We've got everything you need to know to keep cool on this weather alert weekend. Plus, 4 years later, detectives releasing new video of the suspects in a Gastonia barber's murder, how it could help a grieving family still searching for justice. And boat owners on Lake Wylie are fed up after a string of costly thefts. Why cameras aren't stopping the criminals. WCNC Charlotte at 9 a.m. starts right now. Thanks so much for joining us here for your news at 9. You're streaming with us live on WCNC Plus on this Saturday. And we are bringing the news to you here because we have some programming happening live on WCNC Charlotte. But also, it is a weather alert weekend because of the extreme heat that we're experiencing. I'm sure you felt it if you've walked outside for any amount of time this morning. It's where we start your news at 9. I'm Kaylin Hackwood.
And I'm meteorologist Becca Birdsall. We did hit 99 degrees yesterday afternoon, forecasting triple digits today, tomorrow, all the way through about Wednesday. So maybe indoor weekend plans will be the move for today, as you'll see these temperatures rapidly heat up, especially close to around midday. Live look outside across the Carolinas. It is nothing but clear skies, courtesy of our Mr. Sparky Carolina Cam Network. And you know, we're already breaking records today, but it's actually the record warm low. And it was 76 back in 1992, only bottomed out at 77 for today, and temperatures already on the warm up. Now we will be approaching a record high temperature for today as well, forecasting 100 degrees. That's the previous record back in 2005, with the normal high for this time of year right around 90 degrees. Now we are encompassed under a heat advisory that does run from noon all the way through about 8 p.m. across the Charlotte Metro, with extreme heat warnings in the purple that is further off to the east in places like Raleigh. An extreme heat warning is when the heat index is expected to be 110 or greater. Here for us locally, we're expecting that heat index to be between 105 to 109. So a heat advisory is something that we'll see probably each and every day all the way through about Wednesday. Outside now, it is 9 o'clock. We are in the lower to middle 80s out there, 85 in Charlotte, 82 as you step out the door in Chester, Lancaster, 83 in Rock Hill, and up to already 73 in Boone. Here's where we're headed for the afternoon. Actual air temperatures close to the triple digits, but feeling anywhere from 105 to 107 for today. Now this is really going to be those peak of the daytime hours where strenuous outdoor activities will not be recommended, as dangerous heat is expected to build not only today, but for the weekend as well. Futurecast showing the potential for a couple of isolated showers or thunderstorms, but only about a 20% coverage. And the main story going into this weekend is going to be that extreme heat that will continue to persist as we head into Sunday and into the start of next week. I've got more on that in my extended forecast coming up.
All right, Becca, thanks so much. We'll continue to talk about the heat throughout the morning and keep you updated right here on WCNC Plus. You can also download the WCNC Charlotte mobile app to keep up to date as you head out the door. Now, we do want to turn to some breaking news here live on WCNC Plus. Medic does tell us 2 people are fighting for their lives this morning after being shot in Charlotte's Noda neighborhood overnight. Well, it happened near the intersection of North Davidson and Mercury Streets around 1:30 this morning. No word on what led up to that shooting or if there were any suspects in custody at this hour. And also breaking overnight in York County. Right now, deputies are investigating a shooting along Paddler's Cove Drive in Clover. This all happened overnight between around 11:30 and 12:30 this morning. They're asking anyone who lives on that street that may have camera footage during that amount of that time frame to just give them a call and reach out as quickly as you can. Turning now to Gastonia, where for the first time detectives are releasing new video evidence in the murder of a local barber. WCNC Charlotte's Siobhan Riley spoke with the family, still searching for answers, as today does mark the 4-year anniversary of this case.
This is the neighborhood where 32-year-old John Luke Moore was shot and killed during a home invasion. Detectives are hoping newly released video can help the family get some closure.
I still remember walking through that door. I still remember seeing the police markings. and I will live with that for the rest of my life.
He told us to dream big.
This is the first time Stephon Moore felt comfortable conducting an interview at the home where his brother was murdered on July 26, 2021.
A level of discomfort with knowing that a community that we grew up in, a community that our family pours so much into, is where this senseless act of violence took place 4 years ago.
This newly released security footage from the Gastonia Police Department shows 3 masked suspects forcefully breaking down the door of Moore's home on Allison Avenue.
Just ask anyone out there, those who live in this community, those who used to live in this community, if you remember hearing something, seeing something, or knowing something, please call. There's no information that is too small for them to investigate.
The video also shows suspects running out of the home after Moore's murder. Though the people in the video are masked, detectives hope someone recognizes items like clothing, shoes, or the way they walk.
Hopefully someone who's watching that on the news tonight or who watched it this morning will notice something, a body movement, a piece of clothing, even just a personality from how they moved into the home and left the home.
4 years later, a simple plea, justice for a man whose absence is felt to this day.
We'll never be able to get that back. We will never be able to hear the warmth of his voice, the sound of his laughter.
And remember, there is a $7,000 reward being offered to anyone who has information that could lead to an arrest. In Gastonia, Siobhan Riley, WCNC Charlotte.
9:06 here live on WCNC Plus, and new this morning, some sad news for the Charlotte police community. We've learned the highest CMPD's ranking female officer in history, Vicki Foster, has died. She did pass away yesterday, surrounded by family and friends. She retired in January of 2020 after a distinguished career with CMPD, where she rose to the ranks from sergeant in 2002 to assistant chief in 2017. Current Chief Johnny Jennings offering his condolences last night on X, posting that she was a dear friend and it was an honor to know her for the past 30 years, adding she will truly be missed. Now this morning, Lake Wiley boat owners are upset after a string of thefts left several boats damaged. Owners believe the damage is in the thousands of dollars, and this isn't the first time. They've put up cameras and done what they can to try to make a difference here, but they say the thieves just haven't stopped.
Yeah, that's what gets you the most is you can put cameras up, but he looked at it, just moved it aside and just went on his business. I mean, they didn't deter him at all.
Well, Lake Wiley commissioners say CMPD is aware of the situation and they're urging anyone with information to come forward. Now this morning, a Charlotte nightclub no longer has its alcoholic beverage control license. This all happening at Mi Cabana Club. Back in April, there was actually a homicide there. This is some video from that. CMPD tells us they responded to the nightclub nearly 30 times, though, since the start of 2023 for several different violations. All of those incidents came after 2 in the morning. Now to the scramble in Anson County as the animal shelter this morning faces new challenges. The shelter's director abruptly stepping down and it leading to a mad dash to get those animals moved elsewhere. Well, the county commissioner, Jamie Caudle, shared this statement with us. He recognized that the former director, Maureen Lett, told leaders that she was understaffed and overworked. She also disagreed with a potential solution from county leaders to prevent turnover at that shelter. Well, at last check, 4 pets were still available for adoption or fostering. We do have more details on this story inside the WCNC Charlotte mobile app. North Carolina Attorney General Jeff Jackson reacted last night to the federal government's announcement that recently frozen public education funds will now be released. Over $165 million will now be able to come to North Carolina after the Trump administration froze nearly $7 billion of funding nationwide to ensure it would be used properly. Well, Jackson says this should end weeks of uncertainty and let North Carolina schools plan, hire, and prepare for a strong year ahead. CMS also released a statement yesterday saying the district is cautiously optimistic and grateful these resources will be available soon, adding they will review and comply with any new guidance. As our region gets ready to swelter through another day of dangerous heat, local HVAC companies are working around the clock to keep up with the energy emergency air conditioning repair calls. WCNC Charlotte's Miles Harris tells us more about how the crews are working to beat the heat.
When outside temps go up, AC temps come down. But that combination could cause issues for AC units.
So with these things just running harder and harder during the summertime, a lot of these electrical components, they get strained as all get out.
The strain on air conditioning systems have companies like Morris Jenkins sending out several service techs working to ensure cooling systems can combat the oppressive heat.
We come out, check everything out, make sure everything's working properly.
Luke Nessman understands firsthand the importance of a working AC unit in the summer.
A couple years ago, it just started going on the fritz in July. So we had a leak and it was freezing over.
A functioning AC unit is critical for the Nessmans.
Talk to me about how important it is to make sure that this AC is running when we're dealing with the heat that we're getting ready to kind of face today. And this weekend.
Yeah. Well, the wife is also pregnant, so she wants it nice and cool in there. So yeah, I got to make sure it stays cool so she stays comfortable.
Experiencing HVAC problems, the companies say it's important that you call early in the day. And as we talk about the heat today, right after the break, we're going to boost your weather IQ when it comes to the difference between heat exhaustion and heat stroke. And the 24 Hours of Booty charity ride ends tonight. How riders are helping to support a great cause while beating the heat. (9:13) here live on WCNC Plus. And with this extreme heat, it's important to recognize the signs of heat exhaustion and stroke. Meteorologist Chris Mulcahy raises our weather IQ on what you need to look out for.
Here's some things to look out for over the next couple of days. I can say this through personal experience. For heat exhaustion, heavy sweating happens even when you're in the 80s with sunshine. But when you're profusely sweating and start feeling thirsty, well, that's actually the first sign. But when that thirst turns to a drier throat, that's where you're getting closer to this. Within minutes, all of a sudden, you could start to feel tired. That tiredness turns to fatigue. That fatigue can turn to dizziness. At this point, I would go to a cool place, drink some water, and even lay down. If you push yourself past that point of fatigue, sometimes you might have to rest for the rest of the day because your energy doesn't quite recover. You don't want to get to the point of being nauseous. Once you're nauseous, next things like confusion and unconsciousness could be on the table. That's where heat exhaustion officially is changing over to heat stroke. At that point, you could stop sweating. That is the #1 sign to call 911 immediately because the body's defense mechanism is shutting down. When we sweat, it goes through evaporation operational cooling, and that's the way that our body temperatures are regulated. But if you stop sweating, the body temperature can get above 103. You turn red hot, and that's that point. That's where things are starting to shut down. Rapid pulse. You again don't want to get to that point, and you never want to lose consciousness. A headache can also develop at this point as well, but the good news is your body tells you many other signs well before you get to this point. So listen to yourself and stay safe over the next few days especially.
And you'll want to take the heat seriously for today, as this is what it's going to be feeling like. 9 o'clock feeling like 90 degrees, but as we get from about noon through 8 o'clock, feeling like the triple digits and above, peaking close to 107. Heat only continues to build as we head into your Sunday and the start of next week. I've got those details in my extended forecast next.
Time for your morning boost. As we speak, folks are just under 12 hours away from the end of the 24 Hours of Booty charity ride. The cycling event began last night in Myers Park at 7, and bikers will ride along a loop until 7 tonight. This all benefits the great cause of cancer research, and a reminder, even if you're supporting a rider today, be extra careful to make sure you stay hydrated and wear plenty of sunscreen.
Good Saturday morning. We are weather alert as we are predicting the hottest weekend so far this year. And it's been a hot past week. In fact, peaking with high temperatures 99 degrees yesterday afternoon, also this past Monday. So that makes it a total heat streak of about 19 consecutive afternoons where we've had high temperatures 90 degrees or plus. And that officially makes it the 6th longest streak on record. Now, we'll easily make that day number 24 today, which would make us actually in the top 5, but the record is 1993. That is 33 days, and I don't believe we will get there, as we are predicting some relief as we head towards the end of next week. In the meantime, dangerous heat, that's what we have in the forecast for today. Triple digits today, tomorrow, likely something that will continue all the way into Wednesday. Heat alerts have already been issued across the Carolinas and the Orange, including the Charlotte Metro. That is an active heat advisory with heat index values between 105 to 110, but a little bit further off to the east in the purple encompasses cities like Raleigh, all the way down into the coast. It is an extreme heat warning that has been issued for heat index values 110 or greater, and we will be close to getting to that as we head into tomorrow. Headed off to the Charlotte FC game this evening. They kick off at 7:30 versus Toronto. Tailgating beforehand. Know that temperatures will start to be on the downhill trend, but it's still going to be hot. Upper 90s, 20% chance of a shower or thunderstorm, likely still feeling like the triple digits through about 8 o'clock before temperatures gradually do start to fall down at least into the upper 80s by the time the game ends. Here's a snapshot of what you can expect going into today, tomorrow, holding about a 20% coverage of an isolated shower or thunderstorm, but I do believe that most locations will stay dry. Again, those heat index values above 105, and that's part of the reason why is going to be these dew points. High dew points in the upper 60s to lower 70s. That's that humid, muggy air. A good rule of thumb is the higher the dew point, the more uncomfortable the air becomes. Exactly what we have in the week ahead. Peaking heat index values at 107 for today, 109 for Sunday, 110 even as we approach the start of the work week, and that is the range that will continue to stay in until about Wednesday. So dangerous heat expected. Why we are weather alert, especially during the peak of the daytime hours. Strenuous outdoor activities not going to be recommended. Stay cool indoors. Plans going to be the best idea for today. Futurecast showing again isolated shower or storm from midday through about 10 o'clock. Again, very isolated in nature. We'll do it all again for Sunday as we get a little bit more daytime heating right after lunchtime all the way through the afternoon and evening hours. That's going to be expected. Now it is looking like Monday is going to be a little bit more active with scattered showers and thunderstorms. I'd say mainly after 5, 6 o'clock that could very well impact the metro. That is going to help cool us down. In the meantime, this is what we are forecasting: triple-digit heat today all the way through Wednesday, but notice there is some relief in sight. We have our next cold front coming through. That is going to bring us a round of showers as we head mainly Thursday night into Friday, but behind that is going to be some cooler air for us. But here we go. Longest heat streak, consecutive high temperatures 100 degrees or above. Well, our record is 5 back in July of 1986. So if we do make it to the triple digits for 5 days in a row, then we would have a chance to tie the longest heat streak on record. So this is what we mean by a historical heat streak is in the forecast. 7-day, here's what we got. A lot of red on the map, feeling like 105 to 110 this entire week. Heat advisories will likely be issued across much of the area for the week ahead. By the time we get into Thursday, still hot, but we'll add extra clouds to the mix. Upper 90s, finally falling back to the 80s with more cloud cover and rain chances as we get into Friday.
Wow. All right, Becca, thanks so much. Stay with us here on WCNC Plus. It's just over a month before the Charlotte 49ers start the season. So have they picked a starting quarterback yet? We got the details up next. Well, the Charlotte 49ers got to stay home for their conference media day this week, and the newly rebranded American Conference held its kickoff in Uptown. Sports director Nick Carboni caught up with the new coach and asked about the battle for a starting quarterback.
All three have got starting experience at the Division I level. They have the characteristics that you want. All three can create, extend plays, quarterback run stuff if you want to do it. If it's there, it'll come down to execution. You can see somebody extend plays, take care of the ball, take off and run when we're covered, and see if they can execute when they're doing those things. Because we recruited those guys because they can all create.
35 days until App State at Bank of America Stadium. I know 49ers fans are definitely counting down. When you think about that game in that building, in this city, what's the opportunity for the 49ers?
It's going to be a great one for all the things I mentioned earlier. But we got a lot of work to do till we get there. But there will be an electric atmosphere. I'm so happy for our student athletes to go participate in that thing, in that great venue, And I think that it could be a game if you get on the winning side of that. It could can start off and be a great start and propel you for great things to come, and the rest is with the rest of the schedule.
All right, Coach, from Ohio to Charlotte, what's the green tie count in Coach's closet?
Well, it's kind of what it is, but I do have quite a few green ties, and my Christmas lights also match, so I'm in a good spot.
Coach, thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Well, you can watch Nick's entire interview with the new Charlotte coach on WCNC Plus. Did you see this light in the sky last night? After the break, we'll talk about what it is and why you don't have to worry. Any other words? Right now on WCNC Plus, heat exhaustion and heat stroke will be major concerns this weekend. The TIPS medic says everyone should know and when to call for help. And some small businesses say they're seeing setbacks, but a transit boom can help usher in the future. What they say they want to see from Charlotte's upcoming transit expansion. WCNC Charlotte at 9:30 starts right now.
News that impacts you. You're watching WCNC Charlotte News at 9:30.
Well, thank you for joining us here live on WCNC Plus at 9:30. I'm Kaylin Hackwood.
And I'm meteorologist Becca Birdsall. We've got a hot weekend to talk about, but we do have something exciting to show. This is actually a picture that was captured from a viewer named Brian, and this was actually from the SpaceX Falcon rocket ship that launched late last night. So this is what we saw early on this morning, and what you are actually looking at is vapor trails left behind from this rocket. Now this is way high up in the atmosphere, mesosphere in fact. That is not the layer that weather happens, so that gives you an idea of how high up it is. And those are ice crystals being reflected by the moonlight. So kind of similar to what we see a little bit lower down in the atmosphere, contrails, when sometimes airplanes fly through the sky, leave behind a little bit of water vapor, and that creates clouds. It is a very similar setup over a little bit higher up in the atmosphere with this rocket launch.
Gorgeous and terrifying at the same time. If I saw that, I would be like, oh my goodness. I definitely understand why he sent us this photo, because you want to know what it is.
Yeah, so people thought that it was a meteor, which I actually thought that might be a possibility because there are meteor showers going on right now. But taking a little bit of a closer look, that is what it is. It's the leftover remnants of what was that SpaceX Falcon launch. Very cool pictures there. So if you have any more pictures, feel free to send them to us.
Now where he was watching, you know, it's nighttime, thankfully a little bit cooler, but even at nighttime, it is still hot outside. We are weather impact alert all weekend long.
Yeah, we are feeling the heat out there. So let's take you outside across the Carolinas, courtesy of our Mr. Sparky Carolina Cam Network. We do have clear skies to start off this Saturday morning, and temperatures responding to that sun. And we've already broken a record this morning, a record warm low. Previous record was 76 back in 1992, and today's low temperature, well, we only made it down to 77, and we are also going to be approaching a record high temperature as well, forecasting 100 degrees for today. That's the previous record back in 2005, about 10 degrees above the normal high for this time of year. Now, on par with that, we do have active heat advisories issued across the Charlotte Metro from noon through about 8 o'clock, with extreme heat warnings a little bit further off to the east from Raleigh all the way down to the coast. The difference between the two, heat advisories when the heat index is expected to be between 105 to 109. Extreme heat warning is a little bit upgraded from that. Heat index is expected to be 110 or greater, and that's a value that we are going to get very close to as we head into your Sunday and the start of next week. Outside now, like I mentioned, temperatures on the warm up to 85 here in Charlotte, 88 already in Charlotte, 80 in Hickory, 75 if you're listening over in Boone, and 83 as you step out the door over in Morganton, 85 over in Statesville. And as we head throughout the rest of your afternoon, basically from 2 through about 8 o'clock, going to be feeling like the triple digits and above, peaking with heat index values close to around 107, with actual air temperatures making a run close to 100. No surprise here, but the UV index for today, well, it's at an extreme. That's an 11. Burn time close to around 10 minutes. Now, in terms of any relief with storms, we've got about a 20% chance of an isolated shower or thunderstorm at any point during the daytime hours, but most locations will stay dry. The much bigger impact will be the dangerous heat that will continue to build as we head into your Sunday and into the start of next week in that extreme heat impact category. I'll have more details on what you can expect with this extended weather alert all the way through Wednesday coming up.
All right, Becca, thanks. Heat exhaustion and heat stroke are some of the biggest concerns with this weather, and it has local officials reminding folks of the signs. So here are some tips from Medic.
Think about heat exhaustion. We think about the leg cramping. Maybe there's some nausea related with it. Maybe it's just an overwhelming fatigue that you can't go on. And so in this is the time when we really need to start working on ways to cool ourselves down right away. Getting shade, getting water on us.
So here's a good list of things to consider. Limit outdoor activities. Drink plenty of water. Don't drink so much alcohol. Stay in shaded areas and wear lightweight, loose-fitting clothes if you're going to be outside this weekend. Again, it is extremely hot. Now, let's go to farmers who are bracing for the heat as well. And this all coming after Chantal, so they're still recovering from that. The owner of Pritchett Farms in Elon says that his crops took a big hit from Chantal. And now with the extreme heat, he's concerned that they may not be able to make ends meet.
But will we make it till October when it's harvest time?
that remains to be seen. For example, in the greenhouse, it's brutal in the afternoon. You can't be in there doing anything. But in the mornings, it's tolerable, so you try to get in there and get those things accomplished that need to be done.
Right now, the USDA is offering technical and financial assistance to farmers impacted by Chantal. And as we all try to beat the heat, organizations here in the Queen City are asking you to step up and help out our most vulnerable neighbors. The Salvation Army of Greater Charlotte is asking for donations. That includes cases of water, sports drinks, sheets, and bath towels. You can drop those off at the Salvation Army's Center of Hope on Spratt Street, off Graham Street, or if you can't get it in person, we do have a link to monetary donations on our website, WCNC.com, where you can donate there. Now this morning, South Carolina Task Force 1 is back home after 2 weeks in Texas helping with flood recovery there. The 5-member team supported search and rescue operations along the Guadalupe River in Kerr County. They worked alongside teams from Oklahoma and Colorado too. Now we're told the members came from multiple agencies, and Governor McMaster deployed that team following a request from Texas Governor Abbott. Texas did assist South Carolina after Hurricane Helene. If you haven't done so and you want to donate, take out your phone, scan this QR code right here on your screen. It'll take you right to a link where you can help the victims from the Texas flooding. Our parent company, Tegna, has set up this special relief fund to make a difference here. So again, just scan that QR code. It'll lead you to our website where you can donate. You can also find the information on how to help just by visiting WCNC.com. Now, right now, FEMA is proposing slashing nearly $1 billion in grant funding. According to internal memos and sources, funding for more than half of the FEMA and Homeland Security grant programs will be eliminated. The money aids first responders nationwide in their preparation for disasters and security improvements against terror or cyber attacks. The move still needs approval from the White House and Congress. And this morning, San Diego leaders and housing advocates are debating what's next after President Trump signed an executive order aimed at giving cities more power to clear homeless encampments and move folks into treatment centers. Advocates say the change will increase the challenges faced by folks experiencing homelessness and may even take away their constitutional rights. It comes after yesterday a judge blocked President Trump's executive order putting restrictions on birthright citizenship. The order said people born in the U.S. should not automatically get citizenship if one parent is undocumented and the other isn't a citizen. That also goes for parents on temporary visas. The judge called the order unconstitutional. In our continuing coverage this morning, as Mecklenburg County voters prepare to see that 1-cent sales tax for those transit projects on the ballot this November, WCNC Charlotte's Julie Kay spoke to one business who says this is even bigger. It's about accessibility and being able to get some more traction for their stores.
The owner of this food truck says they've been struggling to bounce back since COVID, and they say part of the problem is that places like Uptown just aren't accessible. Since 2018, Blanca Gonzalez has gotten to know Charlotte on wheels.
Stands for International Truck of Tacos.
But most of her customers arrive on foot, something she says lessened during the pandemic.
COVID was awful for everyone.
But even years later, with more big events in Uptown, it can still be hard.
But then after that, it was changing the way that we do business.
That's why she's hoping the mobility plan will move forward, making it easier for customers to reach them.
We would like our followers to just get on the bus or get on the train and get there without looking for parking spot.
If all goes as planned, Mecklenburg County voters will decide this November if they want to raise the sales tax 1 percentage point to expand the light rail and bus system. It would also create a new transit authority. However, there are some concerns about who will lead it. The Southern Coalition for Social Justice sending a letter to City Council and the County Board of Commissioners saying it may exclude the voices of those most reliant on public transit. Budget Chair Dimple Ejmira says City Council gets to appoint 12 of the seats and they will make those voices a priority.
We should not be making decisions for them. We should be making decisions with them when it comes to our public transportation system.
That will include businesses who rely on transit, like Gonzalez's.
The faster we can start, the better.
Commissioners plan to vote on the proposal at their August 6th meeting before sending it to your ballot. In East Charlotte, Julie Kay, WCNC Charlotte.
9:39 here live on WCNC Plus, and this weekend is your last chance to take advantage of the Queen's Feast Restaurant Week. More than 125 restaurants are offering 3-course meals for $30 to $50. Sunday is the last day, but you can still get tickets online as well. Stay with us here on WCNC Charlotte. It may be summer, but in the North Carolina mountains, it's starting to look a lot like Christmas. We're checking in with tree farmers prepping early for the season despite the extreme heat. But first, a father's heartbreak becomes a mission after losing his son to undiagnosed diabetes. The warning signs we should all know right after the break. (9:42) here live on WCNC Plus, and right now National Institutes of Health data shows diabetes cases are rising at an alarming rate. 1 in 4 adults with the disease don't know they have it. WCNC Charlotte's Megan Malaris met with a North Carolina father who's working to make sure no parent has to go through what he went through with his child.
He played tennis, he surfed, he did welding.
A dad who treasures his children. Ted Hart beholds a palpable pride.
I would look at him and I go, oh my God, he is really, really intelligent. Simon was just a terrific kid.
Hello, my name is Simon Hart. I live on a farm where we have horses, chickens, cats, and a dog.
In September 2022, college junior Simon Hart wrapped up a weekend visit home, a thermodynamics test on the horizon.
We said goodbye, we hugged each other.
The familiar I-40 commute from Mebane to UNC Charlotte had no sign of anything amiss.
Through the week, he was texting me that he wasn't feeling well. Thursday, we communicated, and Friday, he was gone.
The why went unanswered.
It was torture.
For 7 months until the medical report revealed something stunning.
Simon passed away due to DKA. And that's when Susan and I said, DKA, we don't know anything about it.
Diabetic ketoacidosis, a life-threatening complication requiring urgent intervention for diabetes, a disease Simon didn't even know he had.
Do you have no family history of diabetes?
That's correct. Simon was healthy his whole life.
In hindsight, there were subtle warnings, frequent thirst and urination.
We explained it off by saying, well, Simon's active. The third thing that should have raised a flag is the hunger. He ate a lot and he didn't gain any weight.
Simon was among the 1 in every 4 U.S. adults estimated to have undiagnosed diabetes.
We used to think that this really was a disease that primarily affected young kids and young adults, and we're really recognizing that it can affect anyone at any age.
Dr. Hillary Lockemer is a pediatric endocrinologist at WakeMed Health. She notes a concerning uptick in diabetes type 1, in which the body's immune system attacks insulin-producing cells. There's no routine testing for it until symptoms appear.
If you've got especially an older child or a teenager or an adult who suddenly starts having accidents overnight in their bed, and that's not typical for them, that should really be a warning sign.
She applauds Ted Hart's advocacy of awareness.
Anytime he talks about and shares his story, I mean, he brings tears to everyone's eyes.
So can you show me the coin and tell me what the symbols mean?
So I made a memorial coin that I give out to individuals.
Putting pain to purpose, he established Friends of Simon Hart and an endowment at Simon's alma mater, UNC Charlotte.
I thank you for this interview because this is one way of getting to thousands of individuals. I would love to be able to afford sponsoring a billboard on Route 40.
A big, bold message board listing diabetes' 3 key symptoms.
I feel if Simon saw that billboard, he would have known what to do. And he would be alive today.
A sign of Simon's legacy and a dad's roadmap fulfilling a future for his son.
Well, right now, a coalition of diabetes advocacy groups is working to make sure diabetes screenings are more routine, possibly for children as young as 2. Visit our WCNC Charlotte app to learn more about the Friends for Simon Hart mission.
Last weekend, we had high temperatures in the middle to upper 90s. This weekend, likely going to be the hottest one so far this year. Triple-digit heat is what we're forecasting. Heat advisories have been issued across portions of the area. I've got those details in your weekend forecast next. Good Saturday morning. We are weather alert this weekend for dangerous heat that will continue to build throughout the afternoon, and it is already a warm start to the weekend. Clear skies from our WCNC roof camera, courtesy of Mr. Sparky. A temperature of 85, dew point of 72, already making it feel like the lower 90s out there, and it's only the 9 o'clock hour. So this weekend, what you can expect is triple-digit highs. This will continue into most of next week, but likely feeling anywhere from 5 to over 10 degrees warmer than the actual temperature, with some relief on the way in this extended forecast. Now, on par with these heat index values, we do have heat advisories that have been issued across portions of the Piedmont area, including Mecklenburg County. That's for those heat index values to be between 105 to about 110. A little bit further off to the east from Raleigh down to the Carolina coast, that's when the heat index is expected to be 110 or greater, and that's a number that we will be getting very close to over the next several days. Headed off to the Charlotte FC game, or braving it out, I should say, versus Toronto. The match begins at 7:30. Tailgating before then, 6 o'clock. We'll have temperatures falling into the upper 90s, and we'll continue to see that downhill trend. I'd say we'll still probably feel like the triple digits and above from 6 p.m. through about 8 o'clock before temperatures do start to fall into the upper 80s. A 20% chance of a shower or thunderstorm. That's going to be the only rain chances we have this weekend. That basically means isolated shower or storm can be possible, but really the big story will be the heat. Now, part of the reason why those heat index values are so high, well, it's because of these dew points. Dew points is a measure of how much moisture is in the atmosphere. So the higher the dew point, the more uncomfortable the air becomes. So these dew points in the upper 60s to lower 70s, that is just muggy air. And because of that, peak heat index values for today will be around 107. 109 for Sunday, feeling like 110 for Monday, and that's going to be the range that we do start to stay in till about Wednesday. So weather alert from now all the way through about Wednesday during the peak of the daytime hours. This is going to be for dangerous heat expected, so make sure, take care of yourself, take frequent breaks from the sun, stay cool, and maybe indoor plans instead of outdoor plans, probably the move going forward. Futurecast showing again from midday all the way through about 10 o'clock. That's the coverage for showers and thunderstorms all across the area. Not impressive, and only a lucky few of us will get on these. We'll do it all again for Sunday with a better coverage coming in for Monday. This is when I think we'll start to see some scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially after 6 o'clock, continuing through about midnight across the Charlotte metro area. In the meantime, high temperatures will be in the triple digits today all the way through Wednesday. Upper 90s still for Thursday before a big drop in temperatures down into the upper 80s as we approach next Friday. Something to look forward to. But we are tracking a historic heat streak. So in our 7-day forecast, we have 5 days where we are forecasting triple digits or higher. That would tie the longest heat streak we have at 100 degrees and above. So you can see that was back in July of 1986. The second one was 4 consecutive days back in August 1983, as well as 1952, and 3 days, well, we've hit that 8 times. So we'll have a chance really to have some historic heat set up over the next several days. Again, this is dangerous heat, which is why we are weather alert, feeling like 105 to 110, upper 90s for Thursday, but Friday, cooler, more rain chances as our next cold front starts to come through, and it should bring us some more seasonable temperatures for next weekend.
All right, Becca, thanks. Tree farmers in western North Carolina are gearing up for the upcoming holiday season. They are hopeful for what's ahead for sales. Julia Haley made a visit to the mountains to see how the trees are faring for Christmas in July.
North Carolina is one of the top Christmas tree producers in the country, second only to Oregon. And when it comes to Fraser firs, no one grows more than this state. Many of them start here, in the mountains of Haywood County.
These trees that you see behind me with the pink tags, most of those are 7 to 8 foot trees. Those trees have probably been growing for about 13 years.
After Helene in 2024, Boyd Mountain Christmas Tree Farm lost trees near the creek, and some customers too, after road closures along I-40 made it harder to visit from Tennessee. But this year, the farm says it's bouncing back
As far as effects from Hurricane Helene, we've really bounced back this year. We've had a lot of repairs we had to do to roads, infrastructures, buildings.
Tree growth is looking up for many in North Carolina. Experts say the weather has been just right to help these trees recover.
We've been really lucky. The temperatures have been perfect. Our rainfall here has been, it's been nicely distributed.
And in some cases, that stress from Helene is leading to new growth.
For some of our, seedling producers, actually, all that stress from last year actually triggers cone formation in conifers.
Summer also serves as shaping season for Fraser firs, when the trees are trimmed, measured, and evaluated for harvest.
By, North Carolina Christmas tree, it, supports the local economies here, and it's some of the best trees you can get.
Even in summer, the spirit of the holiday season is growing, one tree at a time.
We hope that the families feel the spirit of Christmas and how exciting it can be for young kids and having a real tree in your home.
At the Story Sprinkle, time for a weekend tail wagger along with our friends at the Humane Society of Charlotte. Let's bring on this weekend's tail wagger. Her name is Ava. Ava is about 3 years old. She weighs around 55 to 60 pounds. Just a big, sweet dog, lovable dog, looking forever home this weekend. She is treat motivated, loves to play outside, and loves people. Just a great dog. Look at her right there. Her name is Ava. She's available at the Humane Society of Charlotte. You can check her out this weekend. And by the way, no appointment is necessary. They're on Parker Drive, right up of Remount Road. Sunday through Thursday, the hours 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., Friday 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Saturday 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Check her out one more time. Her name is Ava. She's about 3 years old, weighs somewhere from about 55 to 60 pounds, and Ava is our very special weekend tail wagger.
Ava is a cutie. Now it is a hot dog walking forecast. Definitely want to watch those paws today.
Yeah, morning and evening hours going to be the times to get out and do errands and walk your dog over the next couple of days. This is going to be the pattern, forecasting high temperatures in that triple-digit range, but feeling anywhere from 105 to 110, which is why heat advisories have been issued across portions of the area. Make sure to take care of yourself and, of course, hydrate even when you're not thirsty. Better news in this extended forecast is we are looking ahead towards Friday. Friday is going to be when our next cold front comes through. That's going to bring us a round of scattered showers and thunderstorms, but more importantly, it's going to cool us down into the upper 80s and should see more seasonable temperatures as we head into this weekend. So the hottest stretch of the year so far is what we have in the forecast. We just have to get through the next 5 days, Kaylin, before we start to see a little bit of a relief.
Yeah, 5 days going to feel like a long time for
Yes,
sure.
it is.
Thank you guys for joining us here live on WCNC Plus. Becca will have another update on your forecast coming up at 11. Until then, we hope you have an amazing Saturday.